Okay, friends, I'm gonna get real here for a second. We all know by now there are many things that I tend to joke about. My weight, my job, or lack thereof right now, my family and friends, Dominic, my cat, society, this dude. But there is one thing that for some reason I'm so passionate about that I cannot see humor, or for that matter, reason. And before I start telling you what it is, because you clicked this video so it's in the thumbnail, so you probably already know, it doesn't matter. But before I start talking about it, we all, to a certain extent, have such a thing. It doesn't matter if it's Fortnite, Harry Potter, My Little Pony, knitting patterns, Harry Styles, or a certain bald dude that just got busted in Romania. In my case, it is... Isn't that the sweetest sounds of all the sounds? I love this so much. Okay, obviously, spoiler alert. Some years ago, when I graduated from college and was in the midst of my exams and needed something to distract me from my crushing misery, I discovered gaming channels on YouTube, particularly a YouTuber called The Red Bread. I don't know how and why, but I started watching his entire playthrough of The Last of Us Remastered with the channeled focus of a hawk, and I wasn't gonna waste it on school or exams or any of that other irrelevant crap. If you clicked on this video, I'm pretty sure you know what The Last of Us is all about, but I'm going to summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences and therefore butcher the game, the story, and everyone that's ever been involved in its creation. Alright, a dude called Joel is hired by a militia group to smuggle a kid called Ellie across the US in a world that is governed by the military and terrorized by flesh-eating, fungus-infected people that grow mushrooms from their heads and faces. Joel and Ellie murder everyone who crosses their path and in the end develop a strong father-daughter bond. It made me cry like I'm a disturbed infant. It is awesome. Then in the second part, and spoiler alert for everyone who hasn't watched the show or played the video game, Jesus Christ, stop here. Joel dies the most gruesome way possible, and then you play Abby, the character that killed him. So here's the thing. There are 2 parts of me that needed to understand what just happened. One does, and the other doesn't. The first one is a logical part. I know what the meaning behind this is, the moral lesson here. Joel killed a lot of people and basically damned society with his choice, and now he paid for it. Ellie goes on a killing spree fueled by rage and pain, understandable, and while she set out to kill Abby and all of her friends, you get to see into the lives of these people. You're supposed to see them as people with their own story and then feel a certain conflict about whether Ellie is going to do the right thing killing them, or is she now the villain? Where does it blah 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 blah. The second part of me is the emotional one, and that one turned into an absolute maniac. I didn't give a shite about any of these characters, and the only part I was here for is to murder them all in cold blood. I don't give a crap about their backstories. I felt nothing. So while I watched the playthrough of the second game and while I played it, Dominic watched it with me. He likes the franchise, but doesn't really care about the story that much. He's more the Counter-Strike kind of guy. I almost said Call of Duty, but then he said, like, no, don't say Call of Duty, it's Counter-Strike, and he got really offended. I have no idea, whatever. He's here for the gameplay. He doesn't really give a crap whether that old man befriends his human cargo or not, right? So he, at one point, tried to skip a cutscene. Yeah. In my opinion, he's a dangerous lunatic. Unfortunately for him, though, so am I. When Joel dies, he says to me, well, he kinda had it coming. I mean, he did some pretty horrible stuff, you gotta admit. I also don't like Ellie because of reasons. I just heavily misquoted him, but who cares? This is my video. So when these exact and unaltered words came out of his mouth, I was shocked. I was angry and upset, and of course, I started a fight because I'm an adult and that's how you react if someone doesn't feel the same way you feel about a random fictional character. Of course, during the fight, I had the painful realization that I'm being extremely irrational, and I asked myself, and my therapist for that matter, why on earth is that so important to me? Maybe it's because I'm crazy. But maybe it's because this story is about a kid and a guy who loves that kid like his own daughter. And I was a kid once, and I have a dad that I love a lot. And when Dominic says, who cares about that guy, Joel, who's the dad of the thing, all I can think of is, You want my dad to get his head bashed in with a golf club? See the problem here? I'm not Ellie, I know that. But I associate myself with that story and that little girl so much that everything you say against it is a direct offense to me. But it turns my life and everyone's life into a minefield. Being so invested in something and having built such a strong opinion about it makes you automatically feel like everything you think about it is right and logical. And everyone that says something else doesn't make sense, doesn't get it, is an idiot, and so on. I don't know why we all make the mistake of believing that being emotional means being right. I'm saying us because I know you. We all got that thing. And I'm gonna look at you with your sports team, and you with your game, and you with your movie or your series, and you with your CrossFit. And yeah, there, I said it! You know, as much as I have my own opinion about how The Last of Us was supposed to go or not to go, I'm kind of glad I have no say in that, really. It's better this way, because every time an author or creator feels pressure to satisfy their fans' wishes, it's always trash. Always. I think that's the precise reason why George R.R. Martin doesn't give a crap about what his fans want, but seems to make it his mission to do the exact opposite. And I salute you, sir. I salute you. After a lot of consideration, maybe Joel was supposed to die in order for the story to carry on. Now that I've said it, please don't come to my house and murder me. Thank you. I guess the moral of the story is being a fan of anything is awesome. And there is no shame in being super invested in a fictional character, but maybe we should cease to verbally abuse people if they don't share our fandom, And boy, that is so easy to say. I mean, of course it is. It's the logical part of me that actually says it. I've watched so many people play that game and I've seen their reactions. I've watched the rat brat having to pause the game in order to get a grip on himself when Joel died. I watched Hollow cry for 5 minutes straight. I've seen PewDiePie stop the game thinking about whether he still wanted to play it or not. Almost every major YouTuber gamer watched their dad die and had an absolute breakdown over it. I've never experienced a story that had so many people in such a grip. Neil Druckmann, you're insane. And yet, there's people out there who say, I don't care, it's just a game, whatever, you're all wrong, what's going on with you, shut up, yada yada yada. And these people are allowed to feel that way too. We will never all share the same opinion, unfortunately. Or fortunately, and there's always going to be people who think you're insane or you have no taste or whatever, and we call them the haters, but it's just different people with different opinions, right? It's easier to say that about fandom than politics and social beliefs, but I'm here to talk about fandom. Dominic is allowed to think that Joel deserved to die, or even not care about it at all. It's just how it works. My devoted love to him is not bound to his opinion about The Last of Us, even though coming to this conclusion took me a hot minute. He likes my dad a lot, don't worry, and definitely wouldn't support any golf club related violence. And instead of getting angry, maybe I should have told him that I kind of see myself in that story, and then him saying those things kind of hurt my feelings. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. I remember that for myself and try practicing my fandom in a less self-destructing way in the future. That being said, if you want more of this madness, like and subscribe. Cheers!